Welcome back. It's another Thursday edition of Opposite Saxes. Glad to have you here. We really are. Notice that it's starting to get a little bit breezy outside, and you know what that means? You better make sure that your heating and air conditioning system is working properly. And by that, I mean get it checked. And if you live here in northern Texas, you need to reach out to No Sweat experts, because they can diagnose any kind of a problem quickly and get it remedied quickly. So you don't have to freeze your little buns off, while you're waiting for the heat to go on. Call No Sweat experts. They'll be out quickly and they will get the problem fixed so that your feet will be nice and toasty and your hide will be southern fried. The way it should be.
I love it.
At this time of the year. It's you
Yeah.
just need to do it. I mean, they've been our go-to people for a few years now, and they're absolutely wonderful. And they are also one of those companies that do not look for things to add on. Right. They diagnose it, they fix the problem, they clean up after themselves, which you like.
I appreciate that.
No Sweat experts. Give them a call if you're in the North Texas area. If you're not, reach out to a local heating and air conditioning company in your community, because they're the nicest people to do business with. We've been kind of talking about it's kind of a play on the this or that. It's one thing versus another, and where we got started was one night. I think we said, are we going to go out? We were going to go out, and I said, okay, what do you want? And I said, how about a burger? And you said, I don't know if I want to go out for a burger. And you said, why don't we put them on the grill? It was a nice evening, and I fired up the barbecue, and I put some hamburgers on the grill. And so we got into a little bit of a discussion about, how often we make food at home as opposed to calling and ordering out for delivery or getting in the car and going someplace. And, we seem to be, probably after COVID, we got real used to picking up our food because the restaurants were closed. You couldn't go to them.
Well, we just didn't go out, and I cooked. I mean, we've gotten pretty lazy.
Yeah. Well, but then we would go and we would stock up on food, in the house to make meals, because you couldn't go out.
Right.
But the restaurants that did stay open had curbside pickup only, which we certainly appreciated them doing it. But post-COVID, it set a new standard where people would say, do we want to stay in and cook, take the time, or do we want to go out? And I mean, how do you feel if given the choice of having a home cooked meal or going out, which way would you go?
Well, we have been starting to go out more often lately, but I do really like staying home and making our own, because I know what it is. I know what's in the food. It comes out hot. It's right there. It's not sitting under a heat lamp someplace else. But on the other side of the coin, I kind of like being treated as a princess. I hate to use that terminology.
No.
But there's something about, sometimes we have a drink, sometimes we don't. It's just very relaxing. I guess it depends where you're going to go. Fast food, I'm just getting a little frustrated with, and not impressed with it so much anymore. So I ended up, I usually, and you berate me when I go out because I have a salad all the time, because I think that's at least fresh.
Yes. However, in that regard, when you go out to a restaurant, you order a nice fresh salad. Yeah. You aren't as apt to spend maybe the 20 minutes of preparation that it takes at home to prepare a salad. And also, it's a salad for one. You go to a restaurant and you get a nice fresh salad. Like if you get a chef salad, it's got meats, it's got cheeses, it's got vegetables, it's got all kinds of things in it. You get your dressing, which we usually get on the side, and you have a good salad, because it's something that you're less inclined to make at home.
That's true.
The other side of that coin is we do a lot of fish at home,
Mhm.
and we like to broil our fish or bake our fish. And for instance, if we make a salmon fillet, sometimes we put barbecue sauce on it. Sometimes we'll just put butter and sesame seeds
Mhm.
or something and bake it. I would be less likely go to a restaurant and order salmon at a restaurant because I have that at home more often.
Correct.
The only thing that's kind of a, one way or the other is steak. I mean, I enjoy cooking a steak on the grill. It's usually more cost effective because you buy a good piece of meat at the grocery store
Mhm.
or a butcher
Mhm.
store or
Mhm.
so, and you grill it the way you want with the spices that you want. But when you go into a restaurant, especially a steak house,
Mhm.
and you get a good piece of aged beef, it almost has a completely different texture and
It
flavor.
does. Oh, there's no doubt about that. That I agree with you. I disagree with you on the fish portion because here in Texas, it's hard to get good fresh fish.
Well,
You
true,
can't. You really can't.
because
And so what we get at the grocery store, doesn't really qualify as good fresh
well, you
fish.
got to shop different markets
So
because the different fish markets and all.
there aren't that many here,
Yeah,
unfortunately. It's more of a meat state. But that's why at a restaurant, there's certain restaurants that are chains that I won't name, but that are very good. And they have fish that we cannot get in the grocery store. Or if we can, it definitely is not going to be as good as from the restaurant. So
well,
I don't mind having fish, but you're right about I probably wouldn't order salmon because we end up having that a lot at home.
yeah. I mean, if you go
So
to a fish restaurant here, generally you try to order a fish that is not a local fish.
yeah,
I mean, for instance, in Texas, there's lots of catfish
yeah,
around. That's
that
that's a
doesn't
popular fish here. But
that doesn't thrill me so much. I don't know.
if you want to get red snapper or something, it's probably best to go to a fish restaurant that
Right,
imports fresh red snapper.
right,
And I mean, of course,
right.
we were really spoiled when we lived in South Florida because some of the restaurants we used to go into, they had a chalkboard and they would put up there that they have mahi mahi. It was just caught an hour and a half
Right,
ago,
right.
and it doesn't get much fresher than
And
that.
we were there. We didn't realize it at the time how lucky we were, how
Oh yeah.
fortunate we were.
Well,
And
but
now
keep
you
in
kind of
mind when
miss
we
it.
were there, you couldn't find a good steak
Well, that's the other side of
for
that coin.
for any.
Yeah, that's true. And tell me, and veering then from the restaurants and food to I've been looking at lamps.
Yeah.
And I would love to know, well, I may already know, what's the difference between a $50 lamp and a $550 lamp? They look the same. They look the same. In fact, they are made by the same manufacturer.
Very often.
And yes, maybe one has a couple more whistles and bells than the other, but to jump from
Well, sometimes it's the
such
store
a
you're
price
shopping in.
difference.
Sometimes it's the
Well,
store that you're shopping in. If you're shopping at a she designer,
they're really
you can
not.
go in and find for instance, a torchair. Torchair
Yeah,
lamp is a pole lamp with an uplight.
right.
It's really a style of lamp. Sure, there's some that have crystal tops. There's some that have Tiffany glass type tops. There are some that are plastic tops. That's the difference. But you can buy a torchair lamp, like you said, for $50 to $1,000. And what makes them different? It's the brand, maybe, because
It was the same
they
brand.
all use the same, basically
Yeah,
three-way bulb.
yeah, yeah, right. That's
Now
true.
we just recently got one, and what was really different about the one that we got was it has a dimmer switch
Yeah,
on it.
yeah.
So it's got
That's
one
nice.
bulb, but you can make it
Yeah, that's
go from low
nice.
to really
Yeah.
bright. So that's the difference. But look at furniture. I mean, if you just want to get an ottoman to put in front of a chair, I mean, you can go to Overstock. You can go to Wayfair, you can go to Amazon, and even Amazon, you can find a huge price spread.
Yeah,
It's just a
that's
matter,
true.
do you want leather? Do you want
Fabric?
man-made material? Do you want a fabric?
Right.
Colors? And
Straw.
it depends. You can find one that you really like, and then it comes in 5 different sizes, and you have to decide
Or
the
20
sizes.
colors.
But to me, when you're dealing with something like furniture, I would think it would be kind of hard to buy that online as opposed to going to a few furniture stores.
Right.
Because when you plop yourself down into a couch, you know right away whether I am comfortable in this or
True.
whoa. And we've gone to stores where we have seen something online.
Mhm.
And we
And then you
thought,
go
gee,
there.
that really looks comfortable.
Yeah, that's.
And you sit in it, and it's like sitting on a park bench.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And yet then somebody will say, well, try this one. And you sit into it and you go, oh, I never would have picked this one.
Yeah, right.
Oh, is this
It's comfortable. Yeah, it is amazing how that works.
But clothing has been that way. I mean, I've always felt, because I'm not a typical size, that I need to go into the store and try a half a dozen different things before I either
A lot of
find
people don't.
something that fits, or I finally find a brand that seems to run. The only online store that I have found that works like for me is like Territory Ahead.
Mhm.
Territory Ahead is cut for guys that are fuller
Sure.
figured. And so I can order from season to season an extra large
But
shirt.
most people don't, especially if it's on sale or at a good price, they'll order, and if it doesn't work, they'll ship it back for free.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for them, it works. But now you just bought tires. And your tires were $800, almost $1,000.
Well, because again, there was a deal. If you buy 3 tires, you get the 4th one for $1. That was a good deal. And there are tire and battery outlets that also offer. But if you just need a set of tires, even when they don't have buy 3 get 1 free or whatever,
Yeah.
you can buy a whole set of tires mounted on your car for $600 up to $3,000.
Okay, what's the difference? The rubber? The type of rubber they use?
That's a good question, because I don't know what the difference is in the rubber, but it's the brand name.
So you're paying for the brand.
If you're buying Michelin, or you're buying some brands of Goodyear or the name brands, but when you get to some of the Japanese brands, the Hankook and the Yokohamas and that, sometimes you find that it's just as good of a tire, but you're going to save $300, $400, $500. The key with tires is how many miles is it warranted for? I just got a set of tires that's warranted for 85,000 miles. I will probably never put 85,000, not even 50,000 miles on that car. But if for any reason I decide to sell it or trade the car,
it's a perk.
It's
a bonus.
It goes along. Otherwise, you can go out and get a set of tires for $500 that's good for 25,000 miles. If you're only going back and forth to work, it's probably worth it. But that's what's put us in a kind of a quandary sometimes as to which
way do you go?
Which way do you go? For instance, I had written down landscaping. Do you do it yourself, or do you hire somebody to do it?
Well, we've tried that. And let me tell you, by the time you get the bags of mulch into the car, and then you take the bags of mulch out of the car, and then you take them to where you have to put them on your lawn.
So
it's a little tough.
Age is a major concern.
Age is for us at least.
But if you're healthy and you don't have you don't have a huge yard to mow, you get yourself. They got great little battery powered lawnmowers, and you can go out once a week and mow your own grass.
Well, we were talking about picking up leaves and everything a couple weeks ago, and I don't mind getting down and picking up weeds if I have to, or pruning a few bushes. That saves the yard guy. But boy, when it comes to those leaves, we got that leaf picker blower.
Well,
Whoa.
we've talked about that in the past too,
Yeah.
because most of the leaves that we end up raking up and having to dispose of are not our leaves.
Yeah.
They are from
Everybody
the
else's.
neighbors that blew into our yard.
Now, one of the neighbors has herb garden.
Yeah, an herb garden. Yes, and
Yeah, and she uses it in cooking.
yeah, and you can get outdoor herb gardens, you get indoor herb gardens, and a lot of people prefer to grow their own fresh herbs.
Mhm.
You know, same thing like we were talking about buying fresh fish that was
Yeah.
just caught. If you're gonna make a stew or you're gonna make a casserole,
salad,
and you
anything.
can put fresh thyme or rosemary or
Mhm.
tarragon
Mhm.
or something right from your garden, it does add a very, very special flavor.
It does. It must, rather than what you're buying at the grocery store.
Oh,
It's got to.
What's in that jar could have been packaged a year ago.
Yeah.
And so it is not real fresh. I mean, when you open it, it smells like thyme and
Yeah,
tarragon
yeah,
and
but
all.
is the taste there?
Yep.
That's the question.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, we talked about travel. Boy,
Oh, remember that one time we traveled and we thought we would go cheap on the airplane?
yeah, I don't remember
Oh.
which
Oh, I know, and it's one of the big ones out
was
there.
the one with the
cheap
color,
one.
the jet.
Oh, no, no,
No.
no, 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 no,
Well,
no.
or-
It was
well,
not.
it was a bargain, a
You
bargain
felt-
airline, which I spent 2.5 hours with my chin, my knees
awful.
in my chin.
I mean, you could hear the motor humming constantly, and it was just, oh, you felt like you were in a tin can.
But you know,
But-
there are people that will say, "Listen, I'm going to a resort. I'm spending a lot of money for the resort and
right.
everything. I don't care
Yeah.
how inconvenient it is. I want to save money
Because
on
I'm
the
not on
plane.
it long enough.
I'd rather spend
So-
it on souvenirs
Right.
and meals and
Get it.
all
I get
at the
that.
resort."
I
Yeah,
get it.
I can see it, because there are other people that say, when I fly, I want to go first class or business class, because I get served a drink and I may get a meal, even if I'm just
Mhm.
flying coast to coast, or you know, even for 2 or 3 hours, I'm going to fly. I want comfort while I'm flying.
Right.
Uh,
The other thing is TSA. I ended up getting
yes, you did.
the pass to
Because
go through
you were
because
flying
I was flying a lot,
frequently.
and take off the shoes and put the shoes on, or the boots, or whatever. I mean, I have to tell you, it was really nice going through and not doing anything. Would I do it again? Will I go back and pay it again for another 5 years when it expires? I don't know.
Well,
We'll see.
you have to see how often you use it.
Right.
If
It
it's
might not be
worthwhile.
worth it at that time.
Well, that's kind of the reasoning that you have to do with most of this,
Mhm.
is do you want to spend a little bit more for something that has a longer warranty,
Right.
maybe is better made? I mean, you know, another thing is like televisions. My gosh, I remember
Oh.
10 years ago
Mhm.
or so, if you wanted to buy a large widescreen TV, it was $1,000 to $2,000. Easy.
Yeah,
Now you can buy a 70-inch TV for
Amazing.
$400.
it's amazing.
You know, it might not have all the whistles and bells as the one that's got the HD, you know,
But it's not
forms.
bad.
You know,
It's,
but
and
it
it'll last.
depends on how often you watch the TV and
Mhm.
how
And what you want.
crisp you want that
Right.
picture to be.
Right.
But you got choices today, and it's
do.
all over the board. Appliances is another one.
Oh, you could go on
You
and on
go
about
to the
that.
discount stores and get a good deal on appliances, or you go out and spend a few $1,000s for a washer and a dryer. And it comes with 24 settings.
Mhm.
Hey, if you only use 2 or 3, then why not buy a washer and a dryer that has a setting for
That is
low,
basic.
medium, and
Yeah, basic, yeah. Yeah, that's true.
It's-
That's true. But it looks fun and it looks nice. And you think, oh, you should treat yourself when it's in the store. But in actuality, when you get home, what do you usually use? The
low,
same 3
medium,
settings.
high. Yeah,
Yeah.
cold water or warm
Yeah.
water or hot
Yeah.
water.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, well.
and when you put you put it in a dryer, it's on regular,
Regular
delicate, or
high.
heavy.
Yeah.
But it's got 12 choices, and you use the same 3.
Oh, well, I was just thinking things that we've been thinking of and mulling over ourselves as we
Yeah.
were doing some things in
Life-
the house.
Life is full of decisions. You know, go out and make make your own decisions, make good ones, and make sure it includes watching Opposite Saxes on Thursdays
You
at
got
1
it.
o'clock. Okay. Go out and make it a good day. We'll see you right here again next week.
Have a good week.
Bye.